Picture this. You're just days away from a critical financial transaction. Maybe you're finalizing a massive refinance on your San Antonio home, or, perhaps you're in the middle of settling a family estate. The closing attorney asks for a copy of your property deed. So you go to your filing cabinet, you flip through the folders, and suddenly your stomach just drops. It's completely missing. Well, welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to immediately tackle this high-stakes panic, and I'm going to show you exactly how to navigate Bexar County's records to get your property deed back in your hands. Seriously, imagine trying to process a vital legal change for your property, only to realize the physical paper deed is literally nowhere to be found. For most homeowners, this triggers an immediate, overwhelming sense of dread. You start thinking, wait, does not having this piece of paper mean I can't prove I own my home? Or is this missing document going to lead to financial complications or completely stall my legal processes? Look, it is incredibly common to feel this anxiety, mostly because we're just wired to equate physical possession of a document with actual legal ownership. But here is the incredible, stress-relieving truth. Losing the physical paper absolutely doesn't mean you've lost your house. Ownership actually comes from the recorded instrument, not that piece of paper sitting in your desk drawer. See, the Bexar County Clerk essentially functions as an archival repository. They permanently store the official legal original right there in their public records. So that document you lost, it was really just a copy. Your legal rights are safely, permanently locked into the county's archival system. Now, before we look at exactly how to go about getting a new copy of your deed, we really need to clear up some crucial terminology. Specifically, we need to define title. A lot of people, probably most people, use the words deed and title interchangeably, but they are absolutely different things. Title isn't actually a single physical document. Rather, it's the overarching concept of clear legal ownership. Title is established by the whole chain of recorded instruments over time, while a deed is simply the specific instrument used to transfer that ownership from one person to another. And speaking of terminology, it is absolutely vital to contrast a deed with a deed of trust, because honestly, confusing these two is the single most common mistake people make when they go searching for their records. A deed conveys the actual ownership of the property. A deed of trust, on the other hand, is essentially your mortgage document. It just pledges the property as security for a loan. If you accidentally pull your deed of trust instead of your vesting deed, well, you just won't have the proof of ownership you actually need for your administrative files. So, to understand why having the exact correct document matters so much, you have to realize that the Texas recording system has a highly unique personality. For instance, Texas features incredibly rapid, non-judicial foreclosures. These usually happen right on the courthouse steps on the first Tuesday of the month. On top of that, Texas has complex community property laws, meaning spouses might actually have interests that aren't explicitly written on the deed itself, alongside incredibly strong constitutional homestead protections. All of this context just means that having an accurate recorded vesting deed is absolutely critical to protecting your real estate assets. All right, let's dive into Section 1, DIY County Clerk Retrieval, and talk about navigating the public records yourself. You basically have three main do-it-yourself avenues to retrieve your document. You can search the official public records online at bexar.tx.publicsearch.us, where, hey, viewing plain copies is completely free. However, a lot of legal and financial proceedings require certified copies. To get a legally stamped certified copy, you're going to have to pay $1 per page plus a $5 certification fee. You can do this in person at the Paul Elizondo Tower on West Nueva Street, or if you prefer, you can request it by mail from the main courthouse on De La Rosa. Now, if you're taking that mail-in route, listen up, because you must follow these exact steps carefully to avoid getting your request flat out rejected. First, write a crystal clear request including the grantors, grantees, or the legal description of the property. Second, always include a self-addressed stamped envelope. And third, include the exact statutory fee. But here's the real kicker. The county's accounting division explicitly rejects temporary checks. No exceptions. You must use cash, credit cards, money orders, or a permanent personal or company check. Moving right along to Section 2, Professional Retrieval Services, fast-tracking the process with professional abstractors. Look, if you don't want to navigate the county bureaucracy yourself, professional retrieval services exist to make this completely seamless. Using a service like U.S. Title Records costs a flat fee of $45. For that, professional abstractors go in, locate the exact correct recorded vesting deed in the official index, and deliver it directly to you as a PDF via email. This completely avoids courthouse trips, finding parking, and digging through those complex public indexes. And most importantly, it ensures the copy you receive includes the crucial county recording reference, proving exactly where it sits in the public record. When you do use professional services, you just need to be absolutely sure you're ordering the right product. A simple deed copy at that $45 price point is the current instrument showing present ownership. It's perfect for refinance, basic estate paperwork, or simply replacing a lost document. However, if you're dealing with something like boundary disputes, complex heirship issues, or you just want to know the entire history of the property, you're going to need the complete chain of title. That assembles every recorded conveyance in order and typically costs around $375. Which brings us to Section 3, Overcoming Common Search Challenges, and why DIY searches sometimes put the wrong document in your hands. The core issue here is that the public database, it won't warn you if you make a mistake. If you have a really common surname, you might easily pull up a deed belonging to an entirely different family. Lookalike or confusing legal descriptions can easily misdirect you. Plus, a history of serial refinances can create an absolute mountain of deeds of trust that completely bury the actual vesting deed you're looking for. Complicated trust or entity ownerships can also make it super difficult to verify you've downloaded the correct legal document. Precision is key here, and it's exactly where DIY searches often go off the rails. Adding to all that challenge, Bexar County has a deeply unique and historic personality. San Antonio was founded way back in 1718, meaning older titles might trace all the way back to original Spanish and Mexican land grants. In fact, the county actually maintains a completely separate Spanish archives just for these colonial-era documents. If you live in an older neighborhood, the chain of title can be genuinely historic and incredibly complicated to piece together without an expert. And as you navigate this, it is so crucial to remember the division of labor within the county government. The Bexar County Clerk functions purely as an archival repository. They just hold the recorded deeds. They are the archivist. They do not set property values or deal with your taxes. That is the job of the Bexar Central Appraisal District, or BCAD, who acts as the tax authority. So if you're getting a copy of your deed specifically so you can file for a homestead exemption, remember you must take that retrieved deed and separately submit it to BCAD. The two systems do talk, but they are entirely separate entities. All right, let's wrap things up with Section 4, Final Steps, and Legal Realities, securing your document and understanding its limits. First and foremost, you should definitely store this retrieved copy securely. Whether it's a printed certified copy or an emailed PDF, file it away with your important administrative paperwork. But I really want you to rest easy knowing that if a fire or flood destroys this copy tomorrow, your actual legal rights remain inherently protected by the county's permanent archival system. The paper is really just for your convenience. The public record is your true protection. However, we have to address this vital disclaimer, quoted directly from the county itself. The county clerk's office does not guarantee a clear title and is not responsible for any encumbrances on the property. What this means is that simply holding a copy of your deed does not guarantee your property is free of hidden liens, tax judgments, or other legal encumbrances. The clerk just files the paper. They do not vet the legal standing of the property. This is exactly why consulting real estate attorneys or title professionals is always recommended if you have any concerns. So what's the crucial takeaway here? While securing the copy of your deed is a vital, totally achievable first step, whether you do it yourself downtown or use a professional service, it really might just be the tip of the iceberg. What else might be hiding in your property's official history? Could a hidden lien or some colonial-era land grant be lurking just beneath the surface? Before we wrap up, please keep in mind that while the information shared today is accurate to the best of our knowledge, processes, fees, and local regulations in Bexar County can, and definitely do, change over time. Always verify the current details with local authorities or consult a legal professional for your specific situation. Thank you for joining me for this explainer, and hey, happy searching!